Alright guys, this is a long playing review for Arachnophobia on the Amstrad CPC, released by Disney Software and Titus in 1991 and based on the film of the same name from Frank Marshall directing and Steven Spielberg. And it was a pretty good movie. Most of you over the age of 30 probably would have seen it once, but probably a long time ago because it's kind of been forgotten about over time really. As has the game. The game was very hard to find in shops at the time, and it's even rarer today. And well, what they've done in this game, they've based it around one of the main characters, and not the hero there, but the exterminator Delbert. There he is in the trailer. You'll see more of him coming up. And it's your job as Delbert, or one of his employees, to go around 7 towns and clear them all of the spiders, and then before finally killing the general spider. And there he is, Delbert. That's from a screenshot from the game. Now the gameplay very cleverly has been based around the 1984 game Ghostbusters. You have a town and city map. You go to the buildings, and when you reach a building in your car, go and get rid of the pests there. In our game it's spiders. Of course Ghostbusters, it was ghosts. Very cleverly done. As for the other versions, they've got Amstrad at the top there. That's Commodore 64, that's the PC DOS one, and that's the Amiga. And they all look and play very similar. I think the Amstrad one's most similar to the PC DOS one. And yeah, it looks pretty good. So there we go, bit of an intro for the game for you and a little bit of a comparison to the other versions, but enough of that, let's get started on the actual long play. Here we go. Alright, let's kick this long play off and get the game loading. I'm using a sort of cracked version of the game which has like a cheat mode before you load up. Obviously I'm not going to initiate the cheat mode, I'm going to do this game properly. Nice little touch, it's got a selection of languages the game can be loaded in. Oh, there's very little text. And we should have a nice intro sequence here. That's nice. Music's not brilliant though. That's all the intro is there. Quite a nice loading screen though. Another loading screen. A remarkable, aggressive and extremely poisonous spider is discovered in a remote South American rainforest. And before we can continue on, there's like a clever copy protection system here. In the manual you get a code sheet with a list of spiders, and you're supposed to identify the spider with the number that appears in the top right there. In this cracked version we don't have to do that, thankfully, but the CPC Power website does have the original dump of the game plus the code sheet. So just choose a spider, the right spider, and move on. Good work. Delbert McClintosh welcomes you as a proud member of the Spider Infestation Control Team. Let's get you and sizzle them varmints. The South American spider escapes and mates with the local queen spiders, creating an army of deadly offspring. Some really nice loading graphics here. And nice, they've got some kind of like intro sort of thing to the game as well. Shows they've taken some care with the game. I always like when programmers just go the extra little mile just to add a little bit to the game rather than just throwing you straight into the action. And here we are, this is the map screen of the town of Canaima, which is actually where the movie was set predominantly. Now we want to choose the middle house. You can see we've got a compass and Bugometer spinning around in the bottom right corner. When we clear this house, the compass will stick on a particular direction, showing you the direction of the house which has the queen spider in. And the queen spider is in one of those houses. So it's a good idea to start in the middle house there, because then you're eliminating a huge number of houses that she won't be in. and you can complete a town in 2 houses basically. And here we go. That's me, of course, in the blue, squirting our bug spray on the spiders. You can jump, but it's pretty useless. And I've already been bitten once, and you can see his picture in the middle there sort of changes the more he gets bit. You can get bit if you get bitten 4 times. It's game over, and you have to start the game all over again. Although it does have a handy save feature. Oh blimey, you got bitten 3 times there. That's an awful start. But there's usually a first aid kit in every house. There's the first aid kit there. It's on the floor above us. It's that little grey box in the middle. Also, we go up and down the stairs, the floors. And we got some nice colourful graphics, and yes, that energy kit restored our health. Those things in the middle of the floor there, the yellow things, look like pencils. They're actually matches. Now, if you've picked up a gas canister as well, you get a flamethrower. Anyway, we'll more on that in a bit. There's the egg sack. There's an egg sack in every house. We've got to find it and destroy it. And that is basically the house complete. We now just got to get out of there. Now you'll notice in between the compass and my health picture, we've got the spray bottle level. Obviously, the more times you spray it, the further it goes down. If you run out of spray, you've got to leg it out of the house back to your van. And to the right of that, it says the number 2 and the word bomb. Those are bug bombs. And basically, if you drop a bug bomb, it will clear that particular room of all spiders. Or if you're fighting the queen spider, then it will slow her down and give you a bit of extra breathing room, really. Okay, out the house and into the car. Unfortunately, it's quite a bit of loading in this game. And we know that, okay, you can see the compass is pointing to the top right, so we know it's in one of these 2 houses to the top right. The Bugometer there in the bottom right corner. So we'll check out this one first. And if it's not that one, it'll be the one to the right. They're quite long loads actually for every house. Which I think this game was disc only. I don't think a cassette version was released, and if they did, it would have been an absolute nightmare with multi-load. I think the game was 128k only memory. Obviously, the original 464 only has 64k of memory, and the 6128 has, not surprisingly, 128k of memory. The 6128 is the disc drive version of the Amstrad. So I think this is a 6128 owners would have only been able to enjoy this game unless you had a RAM expansion pack and a disc drive. Now you can fire your bug spray ahead of you, or diagonally down or diagonally up. We're firing it diagonally down there. And the spiders are relatively easy on the first town or 2, but then they get quite devious, and it's really hard to predict what they'll do. Are they going to jump up at you, or do something completely different? They're quite unpredictable later on, which I suppose is true to the nature of spiders, but it does get annoying. Because it's very, very tough, especially in the last 2 towns. Right, okay, here we go, the egg sack and probably the queen. What we can do here is, oh, thank God, we could have gone behind the egg sack and attacked it. I forgot about that, because the queen will jump straight out of you and bite you. And I think about 2 bites from the queen spider and it's game over. Sometimes the egg sack's right against the wall, so you can't get behind it. But I think we'll see that in action later in the long play. What I'm talking about there. There was also a web in the way as well, just in front of the egg sack. I don't know if you noticed that or not, which was like you get stuck on it and it slows you down. We'll see more of those sticky webs later on. So that wasn't the house of the queen spider. It's definitely this one. You see the Bugometer is now pointing to the right. So this is the house the queen spider is in. So again, get through the house, find the egg sack. As soon as you destroy the egg sack, the queen will appear and attack you. You can't leave the room until you've killed her, I believe. 2 bites from her and you're dead. So it's a very good idea as well to have like a full energy before going head to head with the queen. Now pretty much, oh hey, I just managed to jump on a spider there and squished it and all blood came out. Red blood. Oh yes, if you see those matches, it usually means the queen is in the next room. Because if you picked up the gas canister, which is usually located in a cellar somewhere, you'll have a flamethrower. Oh, okay, right, here we go. You've got a web, get through the web and go behind the egg sack if it's away from the... There's the queen spider, it's got yellow legs. And I was stupid then, I should have dropped a bug bomb. But I managed to kill the queen spider there, quite lucky. But there you go, that is the first town complete. The town of Kanaima praises Delbert for his heroic deeds. So we are actually playing the character of Delbert. Although, if you remember on the intro sequence, it's Delbert who welcomes you to be part of his team. So I thought you were supposed to be playing a different character, working alongside Delbert. But according to this now, we are actually the character of Delbert, who was of course in the movie. You probably saw in the trailer earlier. So we go on to the next town. This time it's Webster. Look for any houses that look a little bit different. They don't start appearing to the later levels. Now I accidentally went to the bottom house there. I wanted to go to the house in the middle there. It's really awkward to select a house and stop the truck. You press the fire button to choose the house, but often it sort of drives by you, moving back and forth, trying to select the house. Or it selects this one, which we've already been, which we didn't want to go to. Whoa! Spider straight away jumped down on me. Now there's going to be plenty of times you walk in a room and a spider is already jumping at you, and you've got to be so quick to decide whether to, which direction to fire in. And there's a lot of cheap hits by spiders literally waiting for you on the other side of the door. Sometimes even just jumping straight at you, as we saw in the previous room. So be prepared for that. The game could be quite unfair. Well, I suppose it could be. I suppose it's kind of true to the nature of maybe some killer spiders. You know, they are predators. See you come in the room, they're going to come and attack you. Well, actually, spiders generally won't. They're more afraid of you than you are of it. Anyway, here's the egg sack, quite easily found. Again, pretty much in every case, they'll be on the top floor of the house. And if you see some matches there, you know it's the egg sack or a queen going to be in the room next to it. Oh, there's a health kit there. Seems we've lost a bit of health. We might as well. Well, I thought I was going to pick it up then. Perhaps I didn't notice I'd lost an item of health there, and one item of health down. You can see his face there; doesn't look too happy. So I've no idea, guys, why I left that health kit. Like I said, it's a long game and it's a long play. It's about an hour and 8 minutes worth of footage from start to end. Will I manage to commentate throughout the whole thing? Anyway, the Bugometer says upright somewhere, so we go to the house directly upright from where we've just cleared. Yes, bug bombs. If you should gain an extra bug bomb if you clear an entire building or location of spiders. If you kill them all, you should gain an extra bug bomb. But don't think you can stockpile them up to use them on the last levels. Any bug bombs you've accumulated above 2 will be wiped out on the next town. You always start every town with 2 bug bombs, which I found out to my horror a little bit later on. Because I think on one town on this Longplay, maybe this one and the next one, I managed to get 4 bug bombs stored up. And then when I completed the next town, I found I'd lost them all. So we're making quick progress, actually, so far, these early towns. Oops, I've just dropped a bug bomb by mistake. It's quite annoying. It's very easy to drop a bug bomb by mistake because it's firing down at the same time. And sometimes you want to be firing diagonally down and you accidentally, set off a bug bomb. So that's quite annoying. Oh, I didn't want to go into the cellar. Oh, that spider's angry and jumping at me. Nice animation on the spiders. And actually really nice graphics, actually. They're a little blocky in places, but it's really colourful and really nicely done. It's not too garish. Yeah, and the town looks quite nice. Oh yeah, we know the queen spider's going to be in this house here. Top right again. There's no other house she could be in. So yeah, just to remind you guys, when you kill, when you destroy an egg sac in the house, the Bugometer, like the compass in the bottom right corner, will point in the direction of the queen spider's house. I mean, as you can see, some of the graphics do get reused. That's very similar to the entrance to the last house. But as we move to later towns, some new buildings start appearing, like churches, barns, grocery stores, schools and things like that. And they're always worth visiting, because usually they're only like 2 stories high. I mean, this house here is three stories high, 3 floors. Some houses have 4 floors as well, I think. But we're going right to the top here. We've got 1 bug bomb left. We know the queen spider's going to be on the top floor, usually in the attic rooms or whatever. And yeah, a nice variety in the spiders. I mean, they're all the same sprite, but they can lots of different variations on what they do. Some spiders will come out of the egg sac. Now here comes the queen spider. I'm dropping a bug bomb ready to slow her down. I think that was a little bit too early. Oh, now that was very lucky. I don't know how I managed to kill the queen spider there. It seems you inflict more damage on a queen spider if the spider is moving away from you and you fire directly down in front, just in front of it. It seems to inflict a massive amount of hits on the queen spider. So that's a little tip there. Get behind it and just sort of very carefully walk and run after it firing away. Usually that's the way to do it. So yes, what are we on to now? This will be town number 3, Dudley. And here's the town map screen again. And there's a barn down there. So we're going to go to the barn. And yeah, this game, as I mentioned previously, very reminiscent of Ghostbusters. You've got a town top down view of a a town or city. Go to the building, clear it of the problem. Not ghosts, but this time spiders. Switched, and then obviously you choose that. Well, you choose the house. Go there to sort the problem out, and obviously the viewpoint changes to a side-on view like this. So obviously Ghostbusters, the original game in 1984 from Activision, was an inspiration for Arachnophobia, the game, and I think they've done it really well. It's perhaps a slightly dated gameplay mechanic for 1991, perfectly acceptable though for 8-bit computers, although perhaps Amiga and PC owners might have felt a bit, well, this is a bit old hat really. Right, see that red thing in the middle of the floor there, just past the web on the floor, that's a gas canister. Brilliant, we found one. Often found in barns or in cellars of houses. This is great news. Hopefully when we get to the queen spider, we'll pick up some matches and it will turn into a flamethrower temporarily. Now there's a health kit in the other room to the right there, but we've got full health, so we'll get as far as we can without needing the health kit. Now a little trick is to sort of move in and out of the room to try and work out what the spider's going to do. So we're just going to sort of run underneath it. Right, you see, right, they're getting far more vicious now, the spiders. Moving on to Town 3, things really ramp up in terms of how aggressive the spiders are. And they jump down at you from an angle or jump up at you from an angle. That's a big problem, and it's hard to prepare for. And often it's a bit of trial and error, so just be really careful with the use of health kits. We're also probably going to gain ourselves a bug bomb from this level. I don't think I meant to drop one there. I think I could have cleaned that. Because we've killed every spider in this barn, we should gain a bug bomb when we exit. But these barns are really good to do because they're quite small. There's only 2 floors, the ground floor and the first floor. So we can pretty much easily clear each room of spiders. And when we get back to the map screen, the bug bombs there should change from 1 to 2. There we go, 2 bug bombs. Awesome. And we'll go to the centre house there because we're going top left anyway, but that will help us clear things off a little quicker. Just immediately attacking me there, but I managed to jump up and squash him. Excuse me. But don't think you can use that as an attack rather than your spray gun, because if you jump on a spider you always take a hit, even if it didn't seem to manage to bite you. So only use the jump really if for some reason the spider's jumped at you and it's landed right at your feet. If you jump on it then you don't normally take a hit. And sometimes you have to walk underneath ceiling spiders to see what they're going to do. Usually drop down, but from a web, and then they'll climb back up again. Some drop down to the floor then jump up at you. So what you need to do is walk underneath, walk back, and be ready to spin around and shoot very quickly. Handy health kit there. But we may clear this room first, see if we can get rid of a few spiders without maybe allowing ourselves 1 more hit. 2 more hits and we'll be dead. So yeah, make sure to try and get to the queen spider with full health. Although I think I forgot to pick up the health kit. I don't know, sometimes in these long plays you get wrapped up and forget a few things. Oh, the queen spider wasn't there. Oh yes, this was only the second house, and there was quite a few possibilities you could have been in. Yeah, so I was actually probably wise to leave the health kit, but a risky strategy, because by chance we could have come across the right house with the queen spider in. So yeah, there's 7 towns in total. Once you've cleared all 7 towns, you move on to a special final level in South America. Not particularly in keeping with the movie, but anyway, you end up in the South American jungle or something, and you're fighting the one final queen spider and then the general spider, which started the whole thing off. What he's doing, why the general spider's back in South America, I don't know. The game tells you that it's hitched a ride to Canema or whatever, to the US. But anyway, somehow the general spider has managed to get back to South America, and you need to fight him in a final battle in a single screen affair. Now, I'm going to tell you now, there is a nice ending to the game. However, I've had a huge amount of trouble with it. Unfortunately, the game often crashes on the final level, either loading the completion sequence or the game over sequence, and that's on both versions, both dumps of the game you can get on the CPC Power website. I've tested both, and they both have the problems. But the main issue is with the final level is they clearly haven't play tested the final level, because it is absolutely impossible to do. And I'll demonstrate why later on. So when we get to the end of the game, you'll basically see the game crash after I'm fighting the final spider. But don't worry guys, if you just watch on after that, you'll see me work out a way how to complete the game, but I will have to use some pokes. If you know what pokes are, it's sort of instructions you sort of put into the game code once the game is loaded, like cheats basically. Most of you should know what pokes are anyway. But damn it, I took an annoying hit there. So I've had a nightmare of this game, but a big thank you yet again to Johnny Olsen, who's a user on the CPC Wiki forums, who helped me find the pokes that I needed to get through the final level. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. Now I think we should be coming up to the final queen spider. And I forgot to go back and pick up the health kit, but we've got 2 bug bombs, so we should be able to do this. Oh, it's not the queen spider. We've got another house to go to then. So again, I was probably wise leaving that health kit and taking a risk. But whilst we're going back to the map and getting out of the house, again, nice graphics, really colourful. Animation of the spiders is pretty okay. I mean, they're small little sprites and stuff, but they look the part and look quite creepy. Delbert himself looks quite good in his blue uniform, although he doesn't move particularly smoothly. Perhaps could have done with a few more frames of animation or something. Certainly the Commodore 64 version, the Delbert himself moves a lot smoother. But the graphics are a lot better on the Amstrad, and the spiders move a heck of a lot faster on the Amstrad. I think on the Commodore 64 version, it looks to me relatively easy. The spiders on the Amstrad version really do scuttle about at a good pace. But just a shame there's very little sound effects or music. Just the Delbert's walking noise and his bug spray noise. And I was very lucky there. The spider sort of almost jumped through me there. I'm lucky not to have taken a hit. Sometimes collision detection, I feel, may be a little bit off. And that's one possible criticism. And also the controls are, I have to be honest, pretty sluggish. It's not unplayable, but it does make it frustrating at times. I think because we've got quite a few sprites on screen, things do slow down as well, which doesn't help matters, especially with things like sluggish controls. And the annoying thing is, obviously, because the spider's moving so quickly, you've got to have really fast reflexes. Oh, to picture the matches, and we've got the flamethrower. Did you see that? And we can clear this room and the queen spider really quickly. Look at that, flamethrower. Awesome. I tell you what though, it's really hard finding gas bottles in these towns. I think I only managed to find the gas bottle and matches in 2 towns out of the 7 on this long play, I think. This being one of them. What are we up to now? I think this is town 4, I think, isn't it? Elias. Oh, right, okay. Look, there's a new building there on the left. I think that might be a school or supermarket. So we'll go there. See what what new things we can find in here. And be ready to spray or move as soon as the game starts. You never know, there might be a spider already jumping up at you. Thankfully not. Looks pretty clear actually. What's this spider going to do? Oh, you cheeky sod. Should have avoided that. Oh, I managed to get through my spray then, the git as well. I needed to be spraying to the right rather than right and down. But we know there's a health kit up there. Oh man! I don't know what happened there either. Did it 3 times. As you can see, my face has gone rather grey and ashen there. That means one more hit and we are dead. And a rather gruesome game over screen as well. I'll show you that at the end of the video. The game over screen is pretty nice actually as well, because it tells you the number of spiders you've killed and the amount of time, and then like a number of spiders per second or minute or on average or something. Yeah, pretty nice stuff. Thankfully, alright, got the health kit there. Right, we'll be a little bit more careful now, because from this town onwards, you don't know if a spider's gonna jump straight up at you in your direction and attack you. So if they're running away from you, you can run after them and squirt right and down, but if they get to the edge of the room, then they will spring back up and attack you. Damn it, that was a silly hit to take there. You can jump over those webs. It's quite difficult to jump because it's firing up, and you often end up like sort of shooting diagonally up and whatever. But jumping is a pretty useless part of the game. But it does mean you can, if you want to, you can jump on a spider and squish it and goo will come out. But you probably will already have or will take a hit for that on your energy. So what do I know about the people who made this game? Well, it's apparently was produced by Disney Software. They were also supposed to produce DuckTales on the Amstrad and release it on the GX4000 console. And one of the mythical GX4000 carts that were advertised in magazines that never saw the light of day. Wonder if a prototype exists of that. Anyway, Disney Software had a run of a few games, the late 80s, early 90s really, and they farmed the game out to a company called Blue Sky Software to program. Now, I know Blue Sky Software, they're an American company, so they would have likely have done the Commodore 64 version and probably the Amiga and PC version. I seriously doubt they would have had any dealings in the Amstrad version. And yes, as mentioned before, there was supposed to be a Spectrum version released, but never saw the light of day. And that's probably because it would have been a disc-only game, and even less people owned a Spectrum disc machine than owned an Amstrad disc machine. And it wisely they gave it to Titus software to basically market the game and distribute it. And I think probably the Amstrad version was probably done by a Titus team, potentially. I have no idea who the programmers are though. But it would make sense Titus would release this. They are a French software house and publisher. But the Amstrad disc machines were very, very popular in France. The 6128 sold really, really well. I think probably about 1 million units or so, maybe. Maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. In France and Spain and Greece. So Titus have been well placed to release this, being that they were a French company. It makes sense they would have stuck with the Amstrad version because they know would have made quite a bit of money out of this on disc. Whereas the Spectrum version probably would have had to been a cassette release, and that would have been pointless. Look at the multi-load we've had to suffer. So the Spectrum version never got released. Oh, there's the Queen already. Nice. She's taken a lot of hits this time, the bitch. But she's eventually dead. But I've no idea who the actual programmers were for the Amstrad version. The Amstrad version looks very similar, plays very similar to the PC version, actually the PC-DOS version. Perhaps Titus handled the PC version as well, I don't know. Then again, they're all versions are fairly similar to each other. Now I think we're on to Town 5 coming up here as well, so yeah, only 3 more towns to get through, including this one. But yes, this is a very, very rare game then. Oh, new building to look at. New building here. I think this is the grocery store or supermarket. Let's see. So the game just spices things up with having new buildings in different towns. You know, they kind of look all the same. Yeah, it's a grocery store or supermarket. And the previous special building was a school. But as I mentioned about 30 seconds, a minute ago, before I got distracted by buildings, this is a very, very rare game, especially for the Amstrad. I've seen quite a few PC and Amiga versions on eBay, but I don't think I've ever seen Arachnophobia for sale on eBay. I've never come across it before. I may have missed it a few times, I don't know. So I think this would go for quite a high price. It's obviously quite a nice game, it's well presented, and I think as well disc only, so this would probably put a high price on it. Now I was waiting there at the bottom there for that spider running on the top to be the furthest away from me, if you're wondering why I was just stood there like a lemon for about a minute. So you want to time it right going up and down stairs. But yeah, very rare game this will be. Well, I can imagine this fetching at least 30 to 50 quid at least. If someone's really desperate for it, maybe up to 100. Yeah, I was expecting those two spiders to jump up at me. That's why I was sort of That's why you will see a new technique developing here, whereas I might sort of utch forward very carefully, firing each time, because you're trying to work out at which point the spider will jump up at you. And you've got to be so quick firing your gun, especially from this town onwards. The town of Bugley. Oh yes, now if you're watching this on the day I've uploaded it, it's actually the 31st of October and it's Halloween. So happy Halloween! This is basically my Halloween video. Every Halloween I look at basically horror games on the Amstrad, and this is one game I've not looked at. Essentially is a horror game, really. Arachnophobia the movie is basically a horror movie. Sure, it's I can't remember what rating this was at the time. Was it a 15 or a PG or a 12? I can't remember. I do remember watching this watching the film as a kid though, and it did creep me out and make me jump. I think adults could take it, but still a lot of people have a fear of spiders. I suppose it was no more scarier and no lesser or more of a horror film than say like Jaws or something like that. But it's one of the few horror games-ish, horror-ish games that I haven't looked at yet. Probably be the turn of Aliens next year or something like that. Not a huge amount of horror games out there, to be honest. Well, I've got 2 bits of energy left, but I've got 3 bug bombs, which will do as well here. Hopefully this will be a house with the Queen in, and we can move on. I've tried to complete this as quickly as possible, but as you can see, it's a long play. Now I'm just waiting there for those spiders above me there to move as far across as possible. Time it just right. Because if they're only halfway across the screen, if you're coming up the stairs, they'll notice you and come back at you. Right, yeah, one more hit and I'm dead. So I need to find a health kit quickly. Cool, thankfully they just dropped down in front of me there. There's one tactic you can use in the later levels to help you out. If you stand in the doorway, as if you've just moved onto the screen and not moved any further forward, 9 times out of 10 the spiders can't reach you and can't hit you. So that's a handy tip. Perhaps see me do it again in a bit. It's useful to do when you've got an awful lot of spiders on the screen, especially ones that are like running back and forth on the ceiling, because you don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to jump down at you, or are they going to come down on a web like so? So stand in the doorway and don't move from there. You'll be very quick here to trigger the spider. You've got to be exactly under it and then move away. Sometimes it keeps going like that though. Cool, there's the egg sac. Sadly not a queen spider though. Oh, this is the part of the long play I mentioned earlier where I decided to start collecting up bug bombs. As you can see there, I've got 3 bug bombs there. And I think I've cleared the entire house of spiders, so I've come away with 4 bug bombs. And I was seeing if I could carry them over to the next level, but unfortunately not. checking that I've got rid of all the spiders. So yeah, kill all the spiders in a house or building or location, and you gain an extra bug bomb. But you always start off a town with 2 bug bombs. They don't carry over, unfortunately. So yeah, that should now go up to 4 bug bombs. There we go. So we should ace this. And we know it's the house smack in the middle of the town that has the queen spider for sure now. Always a long load for a house though, it's a bit annoying. If in doubt, just stand there and spray when you first come into a house. These ones are quite likely to jump down at me at an angle, so uch forward very carefully, firing each time. There we go. Yeah, and if in doubt, exit a room and come back again as well. Give yourself some breathing room. Yeah, it was very wise to look very carefully forward, step by step, firing each time there, because that one came diagonally down at me. And they're getting more and more vicious each town. There's a first aid kit there, of course, but we don't want to pick it up. And annoyingly, you can't really avoid it. I just realised that these were the only stairs up to that top of the house. You can't jump over it. So you've got to pick up the item, which is a waste. We could have really done with that health kit later on, probably. But I had no choice there. Yes. So here's my tactic, stand in the doorway. I think I moved forward a little bit there, I didn't mean to. And exit the room and come back again each time for each spider, if you really want to make very careful progress. But you do have to be really careful in this game. You lose all your energy, you're dead, and it's game over. Now I think there is kind of a save system where you can restart on the same town, so all is not lost. Ooh. See, the bug bomb there slows her down quite considerably, the queen spider. Lucky there, one more hit and I'd definitely have been dead. Now I think this should be town number 6 of 7 coming up. Once it loads. Ah yes. Oh, we've got 3 different houses this time. Let's go to the barn at the top then. We like the barns because we might pick up a gas canister to make us a flamethrower. But yes, there should be a school in the bottom right there, and there's another barn to the bottom left. Oh, it really got me. I'll squish the bastard. Right. And I suppose at this point, watching this long play is maybe starting to get a little bit boring, because I have to be a little bit more careful. However, there's a lot more spiders and they're a lot more vicious. I wonder how many of you have made it this far. Yeah, I think we're about 50 minutes into this video now. Blimey. And as you can tell, I'm starting to run out of things to say. So I think I'll just dip in with comments where it needs it from now on. Or I suppose I could sum up a bit of a review, actually. Well, graphics first of all. I tend to start with graphics. Really nice and colourful. Whilst a little bit simplistic and blocky in places, a lot of it is really nicely done. The barn looks particularly nice, actually. The character design is really good, of Delbert there. Perhaps could have done with a few more frames of animation. Not the most smoothest of animated characters I've ever seen. The spiders are cool though. Even though they're only tiny little sprites, they look the part and look pretty menacing actually. With their evil red eyes. Look quite like demonic there. Shame about the sound of music. What little music there is isn't particularly anything to write home about, and quite short. Very little sound effects, but they're okay. I guess maybe it might have been better without music. I think with some silly jolly little tune in the background, you would have sort of lost quite a bit of the atmosphere of the game. And the game does have a fair amount of atmosphere. There is a sense that you're alone with all these horrible creatures. Gameplay wise, well, it kind of mimics Ghostbusters to a fair extent. Now, Ghostbusters was a very, very popular game, but it had its flaws, and there were so many ways it could have been better executed. At least I thought anyway, and I think a lot of people do. Arachnophobia uses it as a template. Instead, of course, goes for a multi-screen, side-on platforming, shoot 'em up type thing. It's actually a little bit more fun for it. Although it does start to get a little bit repetitive and tedious. However, there is always that pull back to the game. You want to see more. You want to get to the next town and see what new buildings there might be, and see how aggressive the spiders get, if they've got any new attack moves or anything like that. And obviously you want to get to the end of the game and see what the spider known as the General looks like, and how you're gonna beat him and stuff like that. And obviously seeing what South America looks like, bit of a bizarre level to end on. But yeah, overall, a really good game. It's a very, very rare game, as I mentioned. You're probably going to have to pay a lot of money for it on eBay if it ever comes up for sale. I certainly recommend downloading it for a quick blast. I suppose I was a fan of the movie, and if you're a fan of the movie, you're going to like what they've done with the game. I think they're very wise to focus on, well, Delbert, the character here. I think they're wise to focus on Delbert rather than, say, like the Jeff Daniels character, who was like the hero of the movie. Delbert was only sort of a, I don't know, he was one of the main characters, but he was still sort of a side character. But he has the most scope to have fun with. I think they were wise to choose the exterminator. It's just a shame though on the downsides that the control movement and responsiveness is pretty sluggish, sadly. For a game that needs like sort of quick reflexes, that's not good. But it just about gets away with it. Any other downsides? Ironically, for the game type, the character, well, the enemies we're fighting, the game is quite bug-ridden in places, especially on the final level, which we'll come to, which lets things down, sadly. But that may be the fault of, well, not really the fault, but it could be just a problem with the dump of the game that someone has made and uploaded to the internet. It could be the copy protection causing a problem on the disc. Who knows? But very, very few people actually own this game, and have actually got through the game to the end. It was a very, very tough game. So maybe it might not actually have those bugs. And we haven't seen any really so far, but we will on the final level, sadly. But overall, shall I give this a review score now? Yeah, why not? I will give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good game. I think it's very involving, and it'll keep you coming back to it for a while at least, before you get probably frustrated with the difficulty level and some of the unavoidable hits. For example, spiders jumping straight away at you as you enter a building or a room. Pretty much no way to get out of the way, defend yourself, or fire back in time. However, they do place health kits pretty much in every house and building and location, so maybe balances it out a little bit. But there we go. So yeah, overall score 8 out of 10. But hopefully this should be the last house of this town, and then we're on to the final town before the very final level. And the final level's pretty short anyway, it's just a single screen affair. I think this is the third house in the town we visited. Actually, 2 of them were barns, and I don't think we found a gas bottle for the flamethrower yet again. Very hard to find. Now, I don't know what happens if you visit every house in the town and clear every house of every spider. I don't think you get rewarded with anything extra or anything special. Certainly, I can't be asked to try that out. Now, there may be some things missing on the Amstrad version. The manual kind of hints at that your character may give some audible clues as to certain houses that may have a gas bottle inside. Apparently, I think if you drive by one with a gas bottle inside, he might beep his horn or something like that. Well, that doesn't happen in the Amstrad version, and to be honest, I watched the Amiga version Longplay, and I didn't notice anything in that one either. The Amiga version had sample speech though, which was pretty good. Yeah, there's no way of getting past that without getting hit there because of that web in the way. Could have done with a bug bomb. No, but we've only got one left. I think we'll need it for the queen spider. So do the technique of moving in and out of the room. Try and stay in the doorway. We might be able to get some cheap hits off there and start clearing them off one by one. Damn it. Although this should be the queen spider. Oh, we've got a web in the way, but the egg sac is not completely against the wall, so we can go behind it. Oops. Now that was very lucky. One more hit, definitely would have been dead. No more bug bombs, and we managed to kill the queen spider in 2 hits. Wow. The town of Infestation praises Delbert for his heroic deeds. What a town. I'd love to live in a town called Infestation. Who wouldn't? Okay, that's the programme was getting a little bit silly there. But we're on to the final town. When it finally loads. Here we go. Arachton. And what's that in the middle of the town? That, guys, is a church and graveyard. So we'll definitely go and visit that, because that's the first time we've seen something like this. Guarantee this is probably going to be quite a crazy location. There are going to be tons of spiders. Yep, and I wasn't wrong. And we can see the egg sac straight away. And the church and cemetery is only on 2 levels, so not a huge one to explore. Now in the Amiga version, on this particular screen right here, there's actually a woman that needs rescuing. You literally just kill all the spiders and walk by her, and she rewards you with a bug bomb. There are some other locations in the Amiga version, presumably the DOS version. There are characters to rescue, like in the grocery store, I believe. They just sort of sit there waving their arms in despair, kill the spiders in that room, and then they're happy again. I think you get rewarded with a bug bomb, but that's sadly missing from the Amstrad version. But it's not a big deal, not a big deal at all. Gotta be careful actually, I'm running low on bug spray. There's that bottle icon, obviously in the centre of the console, the bottom there. Use a bug bomb there. Oh good, there's a red gas bottle there. Cool, we'll just pick that up. And that probably means we'll have a flamethrower for the Queen battle on this final town, which will be handy. Now notice there, guys, I'm stood in the doorway and those spiders can't reach me, as I mentioned before. So that's a little bit of a bug, I presume. So yeah, we'll just pick them off one by one. I know that's kind of cheating a bit, really. I'm kind of exploiting a glitch there, really. Oh yeah, and some of these spiders, like on the ceiling, when you're underground, are quite hard to see actually. But you can see their eyes. And they always have those demonic red eyes for some weird reason. Now this, can we get through this without using a bug bomb? Alright, we're not doing too bad. But we're getting very low on spray. We don't run out. We have to go back to the van. looks like someone's stuck in cobwebs and been eaten by spiders in the wall there. Lovely. Cool, exec done. Back to the van, and yeah, that's all spiders killed on this location. So we should get an extra bug bomb. And if anyone out there knows who the programmers of this game were, their actual names, do let me know and I'll try and credit them. I always like to give credit to the programmers and have a look at their history, what other games they've done. Especially if they're good games, you can probably guarantee they might have a few other good games out there you may have missed. But if you know who the programmers were, let me know. I'll be interested to see, whatever. Right, so we know the Queen is in one of these two houses. That one or the one in the very, very top right. Cool, relatively easy start to this building, but loads of spiders now in each of the rooms. It looks like there's tons in that cellar down there, so I don't think we'll bother with the cellar. We know the Queen is going to be on the top floor, so we want to get up as quickly as possible, but sometimes it's worth just taking a little look or giving yourself some breathing room by going out the room and in the room again and standing in the doorway where you can't get hit. I do know that we've got to come back down this way, so it pays to actually clear this room of spiders. That's in case the Queen isn't in this house. And that's it, just get to the top floor. I think given the number of spiders here, it probably is the house of the Queen in. Cool, that's health nicely restored as well there. Just be really careful in this room. Take it really easy. We don't want to lose one bit of energy before facing the Queen. Cool. Oh, and we got some matches as well. So I might as well use a bug bomb, I think, here. Yeah, why not? But nearly dead, but we got the flamethrower. And bye bye Queen. Actually, the Queen spider there looks a little bit bigger actually that time. It looks more like the general that we'll be fighting very shortly. Because we've now finished all the towns. The President honours Delbert, then volunteers his services to South America. Wow, thank you, Mr. President. So yes, we're now coming up to the final level, guys. And wait and see what happens. Here it is, loading up bit by bit, and we'll have the Queen Spider first and then the General Spider to fight. And unfortunately guys, as previously mentioned, this final level is damn near impossible because you always take one hit from the queen spider, one more hit from her, and we're dead. And then the game crashes, basically. Fantastic. Right, well what I'll do now is show you the game over screen, and it will tell you the number of spiders you killed, how long you've been playing the game for, and how many kills per minute, which is nice, and a very lovely and horrible screen to look at there. So here's some of my attempts to beat the game properly. Trying to jump over the spider at the start of the screen there, no chance, dead. What about using the bug bomb there? Can't get enough hits in to kill the queen. By the time the general comes, not enough room. What about if we try and jump over the queen? Not possible. But perhaps coming up at this clip is how we should be doing it. Take a hit there, but get the general with a bug bomb right at the far right as possible so we get as many hits in as we can, because this is how it's done on the Amiga version, which we can see here. Now the spiders drop down from the right hand side of the screen, giving you time to get over and give you enough space to drop a bug bomb to slow them down and get enough hits in. But the Amstrad version clearly hasn't been play tested properly, because it's absolutely impossible to do that. And as you can see here, here's him defeating the general. And there's the Amiga ending screen. So let's just look at the clip again where I tried to sort of replicate that. And the problem is the queen takes 2 hits of energy off you and the general instantly kills you. So a big thank you to Johnny Olsen on the CPC wiki forum for giving me a poke so that you only take 1 damage hit from either of the spiders. So let's see it in action. And me defeating the general. There we go, the general is defeated. And finally we get to see the ending screen. The only good spider is a dead spider. There we go. And the game stalls here, and it should go back to the main screen, which gives you a tally of how many spiders you killed, etc. But it doesn't. But there you go, guys. Arachnophobia, happy Halloween, 8 out of 10 overall score. Cheers, bye.